Pink Floyd may not bring very good memories to its members. The history of the band is marked by its genius and success, but also by problems and fights that broke the relationships between the members. The departure of Syd Barrett, the dismissal of Richard Wright, or the definitive rupture of Roger Waters with the other three are just some of the many factors. With so many changes and different periods during their career, it was obvious that they would talk about some of their work with some displeasure. It is not usual for classic rock bands to look back on their work with happiness, and Pink Floyd is no exception. So in today's video, we will talk about the songs and albums that some of the band members disliked. Remember a Day in Seesaw, from the album A Saucerful of Secrets, were two Richard Wright compositions hated by himself. Wright sings or shares lead vocals on 4 of the album's 7 songs, making this the only Pink Floyd album where his vocal contributions outnumber those of the rest of the band. In the Pink Floyd biography Saucerful of Secrets, he explained, "They're sort of an embarrassment. I don't think I've listened to them ever since we recorded them. It was a learning process. Through writing these songs, I learned that I'm not a lyric writer, for example, but you have to try it before you find out. The lyrics are appalling, terrible, but so were a lot of lyrics in those days." And aside from that, Roger Waters went so far as to ridicule Wright's compositions like It Would Be So Nice, Summer of '68, and Seesaw, saying they sounded like Beach Boys songs. The song's music and lyrics were written by Roger Waters in critique of hypocrisy and greed within the music business. Roger did vocal takes for the song, but had already been strained from previous sessions at the time. Author Mark Blake recounts that Gilmour had been unwilling to sing the lead vocal, as he did not share Waters' opinions as expressed in the lyrics, so they got Roy Harper. Waters has since said he dislikes Harper's version, saying he would have liked it to emerge more vulnerable and less cynical, adding that Harper's version was too parodic. He was singing a sort of parody, which I don't like. I never liked it. I regret it. I think if I'd persevered with it, I would have done it better. I think if I'd have sung it, it would have been more vulnerable and less cynical than the way he did it. The Narrow Way was written and performed by David Gilmour, who recorded the song with multiple overdubs to play all the instruments himself. But a few years later, Gilmour regretted writing The Narrow Way. Gilmour has since stated he was apprehensive about creating a solo work. Probably Gilmour only dissed The Narrow Way because he worked so hard on it and it never was appreciated. During the 1987 Radio Chaos tour promoting the album of the same name, there was a segment where audience members could be randomly selected to go into a phone booth and call DJ Jim Ladd and ask him a question that Roger Waters would answer live. On one date, an audience member asked him if he would ever play the song "Several Species of Small Furry Animals Gathered Together in a Cave and Grooving with a Pict" from the album Ummagumma. Roger Waters refused and said the song was absolute garbage. It would be too harsh to say that anyone hated this song. I don't think anyone could hate it, but Nick Mason went so far as to state that the song was overly long, despite the great effort he put into its recording. On the other side, David Gilmour has said that in recent years he is embarrassed to sing about an albatross. Speaking to Mojo in 2001 and asked about the Floyd period of the late 1960s, Gilmour said, "We didn't know where we were going in terms of recording, but we were pretty good live. We were very good at jamming, but we couldn't translate that onto record. Gradually, a direction revealed itself to us, a line that began with the Saucerful of Secrets track all the way to Echoes through the long piece Adam Heartmother. That was a good idea, but it was dreadful. I listened to that album recently. God, it's shit. Possibly our lowest point artistically. Adam Heartmother sounds like we didn't have any idea between us, but we became much more prolific after it. Also, there's an interview out there where Waters states Adam Heartmother was rubbish." The Wall is for many the last great work of Pink Floyd, but it is also marked by the absolute control that Roger Waters put on the album. causing tensions that would break forever the relationships in the band. In an interview, once Gilmour was asked about The Wall, he said he'd rather not talk about that album. And when asked why, he thought for a moment, then said, "It lacks soul." After the iconic The Wall, both Gilmour and Roger Waters knew that it would be difficult to record more albums together. According to the Lifebox set media, the guitarist did not participate in the creation of any of the lyrics, although he was still considered as a producer. Roger had a very strong idea of what he wanted the album to be like. "I just thought he was wrong about the approach to it in several areas, and I told him so," the performer explained. Unfortunately, the LP became the band's worst-selling album and marked the definitive break between its members. Years later, Gilmour described it as the discards of the album The Wall, saying, "If it wasn't good enough for The Wall, why should it be good enough for this?" Although years later he would do something similar with the remaining songs on the Division Bell. The battle went on for a few years between them, and they have had good and bad periods. Roger Waters, for example, is not a big fan of Pink Floyd's work after he left the band, so comment below with your impressions. We would be very grateful if you could subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for your time. This is Music Box.
If you could redo any of the other great Pink Floyd albums, which one would you choose and why? There are parts of the production of the final cut that I would redo. I'm not sure that James Guthrie and I and Michael Kamen made all the right choices, particularly in the drum levels on some of the tracks. Some of it's a bit overwrought and thinking too much, in my view, and some of the songs might have been better served by less production and more, how would this song sound if it was just a band getting together and playing it, a band of good players and playing it in a more natural way, so less, trying to be very theatrical. I'm particularly talking about the drum parts in Possible Pasts. Boom, da da boom. Will you remember me? How we used. The drum fell into that. I've always thought was way too loud and explosive and trying too hard. So thank you, Philip.